Hello, I'm the TWIT Gamer, and we're going to be doing a Let's Play of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which does feature a certain Herlock Sholmes, yes. Quite interested to see what this game is about. It's taken a while, apparently, for it to come to the West, but I wasn't even properly aware of it until recently, until they announced that it was going to be the Chronicles and all this type of stuff, so it's like, I've heard it's good from sources, but that's all I've really got to go on, so I'm going into this very, very blind, very unknown, so let's see what awaits us. I know, obviously, it isn't going to have Phoenix Wright. Maybe. I'm not even 100% sure on that, because it's this series, it's Ace Attorney, it's like, who knows, he may turn up somehow, time travel may come into this somehow, for all I know. I don't know. We'll find out anyway. Select adventure. Well, new game. It's like, oh, look at this fancy courtroom. It's just the two? Ah, it's fine. New game. I forgot to get my housekeeping out the way.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation.
Oh my.
The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide.
Very Western designs here. Been a moider.
But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
I mean, wait a minute. Isn't he the attorney? What? Episode 1! I can't, it's French. The Adventure of the Great Departure. Oh my. 22nd of November, 8:43 a.m. Supreme Court of what? Defendants, Antechamber 5. Let's see here. Is there a way to speed up the text speed? It's like, feels a bit too. Let's autoplay. Because that was coming up a bit too slow for my liking. It's like, I don't know, I don't see it. Maybe it's just then. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. Similar beep 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 noises. How can it be that just beyond the doors of this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan, waiting to decide my fate? There's such similar noises to the Ace Attorney games we have played. I like it. It's familiar. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glass, murderer. A lot of dots. Sorry. My name is... Oh, here we go. Ryunosuke Naruhodo? Someone help me with that. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yume University. I'm terrible with Japanese names, I really am. 3 days ago, I somehow find myself in the middle of a horrifying incident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough. He's not obliged to listen to such abuse, officer. So you're definitely the attorney, I can tell by your badge armband? And who are you? I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes. And until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you, you haven't even graduated yet. And yet, I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. right? Just call him Ryu. Ryu? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. No, I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Yumi University professor murdered in cold blood by a student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me, I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. They're holding a gun though, and there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up, hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryu. Kazuma Asogi? My best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I. A star student, in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive, considering he's still an undergraduate. Not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old. Here in Japan, anyway. My qualifications don't mean much. Yet. He said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma. Oops. Words is the way to view what was just said. Truly. That's the word we missed. 3 days ago. Yes, that's when all this started. Flashback. Congratulations, Kazuma. Looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know. I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you. I'm proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. We want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. Yes! I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time, tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's city of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Still gotta finish my tea. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. Ah, there you go. See you in English class tomorrow then. Partner. He took his tea with him. I assume it was tea. It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Sogi, may I have a word? Who's this? Professor, didn't know you were coming. Like, looking at his design, it's like, is he meant to be sort of like an older Phoenix but in the past? Something like that, especially with the fact he's got a sidekick from the looks of it. Well, his case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Sogi, you should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? Feels as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. See there, it's like she seems familiar as well. There's a lot of familiarities here. I shall accompany you. Alright then. Ryu. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes. Thanks, Kazuma. I like the 3D models. Just adds an element to it that's Nice. There's a lot of dots going on now. Oh, this is awkward. If I may. Yes? Sorry? You must be the defendant. Ryu, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is... Eugene Mikotoba? I'm a professor of forensic medicine at Meiji University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard of that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Sogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know. Know what? Well, as you no doubt heard, Sogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, he's not going to go. I'm afraid that permission will be revoked and never granted again. What? As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I had a feeling Osogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered? But I don't understand. Why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. It's very difficult to persuade them to grant permission, even in the most favorable of circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear it. I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true. Nevertheless, I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Of course, there is its ace attorney. Sorry? What do you mean? You'll soon understand once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well, naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so... as soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what would the question be? Surely not, do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. It would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Osogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty for failing to appear? Get moving. There's no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. No. This is it. This trial goes badly. Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, with absolutely no idea of what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance to prove my innocence. The trial that would decide my destiny. (22nd of November, 9 a.m. Supreme Court of Courtroom number 2. His eyes. So this is a courtroom. Just darting around everywhere. The Supreme Court of Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. The powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. Why? Secret trial? Trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and governmental officials may attend. What? But why? It'll become clear in time. But for now, you need to concentrate, Ryu. It's about to begin. Hello. He's asleep. Is this a pattern with the judges? The court will now hear the trial of Ryu. The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. I mean, look at that. Even similar hair. As is the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That's correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I'm obliged to ask the final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? This is where we say I do, and it's like, it's us. This is it. This must be the question. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then, if I say I do, I need to answer quickly. What should I do? I do. Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I'm standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. Ding. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryu, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? It's madness. Rubber. What are you playing at, Ryu? Professor Mikutaba told me everything, just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off? No, it's not that, really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Yes. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikutaba, something like that, shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well. Was the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel. Really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? What? Huh? Me? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's completely blank. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to look so bewildered. Well, for a mere university student to be brought here before the Supreme Court, you must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. How big is your hammer, mate? As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have been undertaken and... What? My competence? What does that mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. He can't be questioning more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Did you do it? No? What? Oh, yes. Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in the case. That's easy enough. Heard his name more times than I'd care to remember. But, wait. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Ryu. I'm gonna struggle with his name so much. Even the looks he gives, it's like, it's so familiar. to certain characters from Ace Attorney. Yes. Let me guess, your mind's gone blank? You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. Oh yes, of course. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with a press of RB. Well, I'm pressing it, I've got nothing. If you ever find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. You just have to press RB for the court record. Alright, there's no time to lose. Ooh, look at this court record, isn't it fancy? This is a list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with RB. You'll find details about the victim in here. He's got a fancy hat. When you're done, press B to go back, which would be circle for me. So what we got? Kazuma. Second year at the Imperial Yume University. He's my best friend, and despite being a student, a qualified defense lawyer as well. Now obviously, since this is like... we've jumped away from like the Ace Attorney trilogy that I'd done previously on the channel. Very much like I want to approach this more carefully and calmly because things may have changed up in terms of how they do things, so it's like they may be more tricky. Like this is more advanced, this is later in the series overall, so it's like I don't think like me doing things simply is going to work the same way as it did last time, so I've got to be a bit more careful. Eugen, medical school professor at the Imperial Yume University. He's an authority in forensic medicine and Kazuma's mentor. Ouchie. The lead prosecutor of this case, who would appear to have little love for the changes the Cultural Reformation has brought about. John H. Wilson. The victim of this case. He was visiting professor of medicine at Yume University from the British Empire. Medical, both medical there. That's something that's jumped into my head already. Okay. So remember, everything to do with the current case can be found in the court record. Now, you better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the people section of the court record, and press Y to present. Try it now. I want to go back to the other option, but... Yes! Yes! The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Tish. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed. Which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. It can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. That's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly. Our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference for me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. British Empire. It's incredible to think... Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. Don't know his name, but still. I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table. And introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Ryu. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. Cause of death? Well, obviously that was, Ryu. Remember that in court, every assertion must be backed up by evidence. By evidence? But how? Find the piece of evidence that shows the professor's cause of death and select present. Do it now. A post-mortem report. Let's have a look at this. Proof that I'm a student at the Imperial Yume University. I was wearing it on the collar of my uniform jacket. Post-mortem report. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. Bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Okay. Let's see here. Single bullet fired at close range, fatal hemorrhaging from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. I feel like that's going to be significant somehow. Don't know how yet.
Yes!
According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death to gunshot trauma. Let her read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it? Sorry, yes, that's right. The post-mortem report. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Oh, I see. I guess I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. The steak is still warm, and clearly discerns scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, Counsel. The court will accept this modern scientific evidence into the record. The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. So that's a photographic print. That's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well. I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. What are you doing? What's this? Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was there at the scene of the crime when it happened. This is it, then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes. Clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Of course. When he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asagi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is, rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and control the cold stares first. Yeah, why is it blowing? Like, where's the wind coming from for this? Very strange. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I'm the head waiter at a Western Star restaurant called La Carnival. Am I? Ooh. Alright. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some, You're gonna stain that, mate. It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. And it really should. As everyone knows, the capital's south-eastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim crime occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants. An Occidental eatery 3 days ago. Understood. Osanaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, aspiring maybe, but aspiring? It's just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. A few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. A hiccup at that point. That fits in with my memory of it too. There's hardly anyone else in the place. It's still worrying, like you're coughing up a lot of blood there, mate. That's when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried out of the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. Standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student.
Yes!
Hold on. Let me just clarify something here. Well, I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor. I didn't shoot him. You were not meant to interject.
Objection!
I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the witness's report of what he saw, you amateur. But the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, offended. Ryu. Don't worry, Ryu. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must just quietly listen to the witness. I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim, with a gun in his hand, was the same man we see here in court today. Again, that's worrying. Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Huh? Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around the table. What's the matter, Ryo? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? That's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been warned about interjecting, but still, what should I do? It's not a petty interjection, so...
Yes!
Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Objection!
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Sonaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. Ah, sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume? That's right. Afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. It's just a sketch, though. Well, clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add it to the court record as evidence. Oh, well. Is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? It's been completely calm and collected until now. It's got to be whatever on the other side. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. He needs a doctor. Like, there's something going on there. So, the court has now heard a precis? No idea. Of the case. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency? You admit your guilt at this stage. The court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I report this waiter as an unsworn witness in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense, if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial, the prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? It's like, are you innocent, mate? Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikotoba said it, and so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent. I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face. Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then the defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove the innocence by whatever means necessary. You're just going to abandon that duty? You're going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryu. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. And then we'll see just how decisive this evidence really is. Oh my. Indeed. Prosecutor Uchi, please continue with proceedings. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. In a few short moments from now, that dumbstruck young mouth of yours will be silenced forever. Prosecution calls its next witness. Very well. Officer, bring forth the witness at once.